and you guys are now tuned into Treasure Talk. We're here today with Miss Nhari, who is a mommy, a mental health therapist, and a serial entrepreneur. Okay, that's a lot.
Yes.
Like, how? Let's just start there.
Yeah, no, I will definitely say that one of the biggest misconceptions, especially when you are a entrepreneur who's ambitious and you are like on the verge of motherhood, is that, you know, you can't do both, or that you have to sacrifice. And yes, there definitely is sacrifice, but it's possible. You know it. We see you do it every single day. So it's definitely adjustment, but I think that as long as you prioritize, and as cliche as it sounds, so manage your time wisely, you can do it. So, and make time for yourself more than anything.
Well, and that's the biggest thing. Like, it is hard. It's very challenging. So, like, just motherhood itself, like, that's an entire job. So, like, there are people who just stay at home and do that. So, I don't think people realize how much it is to add in the work element.
Right.
You know, the being a boss, you having your business is its own job. But, like, to do that while being a mom. So, let's talk about the baby. Okay. Nhari has a baby the same age as my baby.
Yes.
My baby, Nair.
Yes.
Nair. And then, sorry, I accidentally
you gave my other baby.
Wait, she's pregnant, and her new baby, pronounce her name?
Nira.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what I.
Spit it out.
So talk about that. Like, how's that?
Yeah, no. So pregnancy, while already having a 1-year-old, it's fun actually, but also it is challenging because Mare doesn't understand that I am pregnant, so he's still trying to roughhouse, and you know, he requires a lot of time, energy. He's in his toddler stage, so because of that, it is challenging, but it's fun in the sense of just like the fact that I'm about to be a mom to 2.
That's crazy.
That in itself, I'm like, it's mind blowing, but I'm like excited about it.
And the thing is, it is exciting, but like for me, just with my baby, it is so hard. Yeah. So I can't imagine. And like, okay, another misconception. Everybody's always like, oh, newborns, you're never gonna sleep, this and that. I feel like that's the easiest.
Oh my God, yeah, that's the best part. I wish they would go back to that.
They don't do anything except sleep. So let's talk about toddlers, like, because that to me, they're crazy.
Toddlers are. I love babies. I love toddlers, but they little demons. They're very adventurous. They're into everything. So because of that, and this is where they're finding themselves. They're exploring. They figuring out they have a personality and they have moods. So at this point, it's just like, all right, whatever I'm feeling, you about to know it. You know what I mean? So it's a lot, but no, it's definitely fun because now, again, I'm seeing that Mare has a personality. Like, he's super goofy. He's a goofball. And I'm like, whose child are you? Like, why are you like this? So it's just, right?
So I get it.
It's cute. Yeah. So I love it.
Okay, well, that's good. So, you know, just speaking of like, obviously it's tough being a mom, but it's also one of the most rewarding jobs anybody can have.
Absolutely.
So, mental health. You're a mental health therapist.
Yes.
The connection of that with pregnancy, giving birth, like that's something I feel like, especially, I don't even want to say within the Black community, because I feel like a lot of women deal with that or like didn't. What has been your experience with postpartum, or what advice would you give to a mom? I know for me, like, I had a doula, Aubrey Love Wisdom, and my aunt was also my doula. And the biggest thing was, like, she always talks about spiritual preparation, self-care. So were there things that you did? Like, what advice would you give to someone? Because I feel like people don't talk about it. So what do you think? Like, what advice would you give for postpartum?
Yeah, so I'll start by saying that even though I'm a mental health therapist, I'm human, right? So when it came down to me having a kid, I wasn't like, oh, I need to make sure I do X, Y, and Z to make sure I don't become depressed. Or it wasn't something I was thinking about, and it wasn't something that I even prepped those around me for. So when the time actually came after giving birth and I started experiencing postpartum depression, no one actually knew what I was going through. And so because of that, I was kind of suffering in silence because no one understood. And so even for me, it was a shock because I'm like, okay, Nhari, wait a minute, you having these feelings, you a therapist, get it together, girl, like figure it out, you know what I mean? And so it was very shocking. And I would say that, you know, it was definitely an eye-opener for something that I wasn't prepared for, right? Because you can have an idea about something beforehand, but it's not until you go through it that you are
experienced.
Yeah, you actually know. And so I would just say with that, the biggest thing, it is important to prepare yourself. And, you know, with that, there's nothing you can truly say or do to truly get ready for that experience. But I would say just educate yourself, educate those around you, so that way they can know how to support you in those moments. They know what it is that you might need to kind of help you through. They know signs to look out for, because again, you know, most people just don't know. And so we've seen, you know, unfortunately, here it is, women are going through postpartum depression, and, you know, they don't know the signs, and their loved ones don't know the signs until it's too late and something happens. So I would say just educating yourself more than anything, just to kind of help with the process of everything.
Okay. And I definitely agree. I feel like for me, the two biggest things, or, you know, for women in general, would be self-care and then the support piece.
Absolutely.
You know, after giving birth, even just being a parent in general, it's always nice to have that support, or to have the break that you need in order to take care of yourself.
Yes.
So how's that going now? Like, how are you able to manage being a mom, full-time mom, therapist, and then you also have your own businesses? So like, how does that work?
So again, time management is key, right? Priority.
Yeah.
Like, you really have to prioritize your time wisely. So while I can't necessarily prioritize being a mom or being a wife, or even my business for that matter, I have to make sure that I am implementing time for myself, right? Because being a wife, a mom, that's 24/7. A business owner, that's 24/7.
Exactly.
So in that, I have to actually schedule out time to be like, okay, you know what? Nobody bother me. We're not taking any work calls. Yes, I'm mommy, but I'm not here. Yes, I'm a wife, but I'm not here, right? If you need something,
I remember you telling me that. Like,
Yeah.
when you had him, it would you would literally have time where it's like, no, I'm not here. I'm not here. I'm over here. You take care of the baby. You have your
This
time.
is my time. You get your time where you get to be daddy, or you get to do whatever. So I need that same time, because it's really important that when you are given these new roles, right, of a mom, of a wife, of a business owner, or just whatever else that you might pick up, right, that we forget ourselves because we have taken on so much. And you can't forget about yourself, right?
No.
You can't pour from an empty glass.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, you got to make sure you're taking care of yourself. So whatever that looks like for you, and self-care is different for everybody, right? Some people feel like their self-care is getting their hair and nails done, and for you that might work. Me personally, self-care is doing nothing. Eating and doing nothing. Right? Yeah, you know, we quick to go out to eat, right?
Yes.
But like, for me, it's like honestly just doing nothing, right?
Yeah.
And so whether that
Just
be
chilling.
eating, or just like hanging out with some girls and just relaxing, like, I am really big on just doing what I need to do to kind of regroup. And I think that people, like, there's a misconception when it comes to like self-care, because like, you have to do something. No, doing nothing is actually just as productive.
Definitely. And the thing too about self-care, like you say, it can literally just be taking a break. That's huge. But I think what happens too, you know, with women, our perceptions in society, gender roles, some people, and it's weird, but they frown at like the thought of a mom taking a break, or you know what I'm saying, prioritizing yourself in some moments. But you hit a key point, like, and that's something that I had to realize, because I say all the time, after having my baby, there was a period of time where I wasn't taking care of myself at all.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing I realized was, like you said, you cannot pour from an empty cup. So it's really true. You have to reset. You have to take time to yourself.
Absolutely.
And, or even just to do things that you want to do.
Exactly.
You know?
And it could be something small, like just going to get an ice cream from a place that you've been wanting to get ice cream. It doesn't have to be anything big. It doesn't have to be a fancy smashy trip. You know, because we are live in a society where they feel like, you know, you have to like do so much to like cater to yourself. And no, it's really simple, right? Like, really, like, just taking time out to like do your hair. Like, I remember when I was first natural, and I never wanted to like deep condition and go through the whole washing day, right? That was like really big for me. But that's a form of self-care. You're taking care of yourself.
Yep.
So it's just simple things. And
that's so true. Like I said, there were periods of time where I didn't do my hair, didn't wash my hair. Like, it's really hard. I don't think people realize. Like, and it's because you genuinely don't have time. Like, all, you know, I did or do is work and take care of my baby. That's it. So
that's a lot, though. Don't say that's it. That's a lot, girl.
No, I'm saying that's all I had time to do.
Course,
you know, like that takes up just having taken care of your
That's
baby.
a lot. That's 2 whole jobs and then some. Like that is a lot, and I wish that people truly understood just how big of a commitment being a mother is, right? And then having a job or being an entrepreneur, like it's a lot.
Yes.
And I wish we got a lot more respect.
Exactly. Definitely, I agree. So you're having another baby.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
How, like, was it expected? Like, how did you feel when you found out you were pregnant with baby?
So at this point, honey, to be honest, being married, you just gotta. It just is what it is. Like, I'm just like, at this point, I'm not shocked. So, like, if we were to have Nira and 6 weeks later to say, oh, you pregnant again.
Oh, no.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like, and at this point, we're just like, yeah, like, let's just go with it.
So, how, like, are you, I mean, no, you're just saying, whatever.
Yeah, no, I'm here for it. I'm excited. But no,
I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm here for it. Like, honestly, like, we decided, well, initially, we said we wanted, like, 7 kids. So, we, like, continue on that track, then maybe, you know, I'm cool either way. It's funny, because we were actually out somewhere today, and someone asked, how many more kids do you plan on having? And I looked at him, I'm just like, okay. What are you thinking? Like,
so
whatever you decide, I'm with it.
I
mean, right now, he's like, no, 3. He's capped out at 3, because kids are a lot.
I can't imagine. Like, I definitely, I just can't imagine. Like, great, good for you.
You say that now.
No, and I agree. Like, I definitely would want to, you know, have, I'm not going to say have more kids, but maybe another baby, but.
Okay.
I don't see it at all anytime soon.
No? Okay.
No, absolutely not.
I'll take that.
But hey, I'm here for.
Yes, thank you.
I'm here for the nieces and nephews.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that. We love Mary.
Yes.
So.
And I love Anthem. That's my boo. I miss her.
She's in North Carolina right now.
I miss her. That's my girl.
She'll be back.
That's my friend.
She'll be back. We may have to have her join in sometimes.
Oh my God, you know, she would have so much personality on this show. She would take over for you. You wouldn't even have to say anything.
She's a mess. Okay. But let's see. So, your businesses. You are we talked about you're a serial entrepreneur. So let's talk about some of your businesses.
Yes. Okay. So, full time, I'm a mental health therapist. I work in a mental health hospital, and then I also do contractual work on the side for outpatient care providers. So my schedule is all over the place. But when I'm not doing that, I'm also taking clients on my own for life coaching and for therapy.
Wow.
In addition, I have a few initiatives. So one of them is a Girls with Poise Empowerment workshop. So every week, right now, every Saturday, I'm hosting a workshop for young girls ages 8 to 17, where they are just getting the fundamentals of what it is to be a girl with poise. So we're working on confidence building, we're working on empowerment, we're working on conflict resolution, communication skills, just the things that I feel like young women really need to know.
Yeah,
right?
or that a lot of times those just aren't things you're thinking about. You're in school, you're, it's just not something that you're being taught.
Exactly, yeah. So I mean, and while like saying that out loud, like to a young girl, I'm like, I don't want to go to that. But I try to make it very fun, very interactive, so that way it is something that they do want to come back to. And so far, like every girl that has come, to the first ssession, they've continued to come back. So,
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's been really good. So that's something else I got going on. And I got Sisterhood Saturday, which is my empowerment workshop. They're for women, and we do that once a month also. So that's what I got going right now.
Okay, that's amazing. Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
So how do you feel about like therapy and like do you offer sessions there or
where?
Like at the events?
So, you mean for like my young girls?
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily offer it there per se, so I'm not going to give you a therapy session there, but if you decided that you would like to seek out therapy services, I can't talk, then yes, and that's something that we could schedule to, go further with.
And is that something that you see a lot? Like I would imagine, at these sessions, you're talking to them about mental health or their feelings or, because it's crazy because I think back to being in high school and stuff, and it's like, now, like, I feel like when we speak of teenagers and stuff, we're like, oh, they don't have bills. They don't have anything to worry about. But the reality is they have their own lives. their own set of problems, their own set of things going on, and like you just have to think of you, like when you were that age, everything you had going on. So like what, like when you talk to them, what type of advice do you give them, or you know?
So one of the biggest things that I tell my girls is just to be mindful in whatever capacity that may be. So like going through your preteen, teenage years, you're dealing with a lot of different feelings, a lot of different thoughts, right? So, and that's normal, right? You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. So be mindful in the sense of, okay, I'm having this thought, and if this is a good thought, okay, let's, you know, continue down this path. If this is a bad thought, or, you know, something I probably shouldn't be feeling, okay, it's normal, but let's try to figure out how we can reframe this and move on to something that is positive. So just in every aspect, just be mindful. Be mindful about the people you hang around. Be mindful about the activities that you involve yourself in. Just be mindful, because at that age especially, it's so easy to just get into things because you're not thinking and you're not being mindful. So the one thing that I really stress in my girls is just be mindful and to think. Take a step back for a moment and really think about what you're doing before you do it, because all it takes is that one time, right, that you do something and something can go wrong. So just be mindful.
And something I think about all the time, like especially with this generation, is social media and the role that plays. Like I saw a post the other day. It was like a girl's college dorm had went viral, and it was like super, like nicer than our homes. Like, it was like luxury, just super nice, and it's like, oh my god, I'm glad I didn't, because my dorm, like I'm glad I didn't have to. Or even like I saw something saying that now girls in high school are getting their makeup done for the first day of school. And my thing is, first of all, I have a lot of questions there. What are they getting it done the night before and sleeping in it? Are they going in the what?
Why?
Are you going to get your makeup done at 4 a.m. to be at school at 7 a.m.?
Why?
Like the pressure. That's
the
crazy.
fact that they feel like they have to. Like, why is that even a thing? Like, that wasn't even something that crossed my mind.
I wasn't even wearing makeup in high school. Like, I didn't start. I started wearing makeup in college, and it was eyeliner.
Right, it's real simple.
Lip gloss if I'm feeling spicy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, okay, I did something today.
Like, so the fact that they are going to high school with full faces, pink.
And not even that, beyond that, like, inches down their back. We got 40
They look like grown women.
Honey, yes. They look older than me. So, crazy. Yeah, it is crazy. And yeah, social media has just created this false perception of just life overall, and now we see it, you know, definitely
real time.
Yeah, it's taking effect, right? Whether that be with, you know, people our age, we see everybody. It's like, if you didn't post it, it didn't happen, right? People can't just live life anymore. It's like, I gotta show it, right? And so there's that, and then there's also too with these young people where they feel like, you know, they have to keep up with this idea of, you know, what it is to be a teenager, and it's like, this is not teenage years to me. Like, you know, teenagers, y'all not supposed to have any cares, just like live life carefree. But it's like now they've picked up just so many things that they, you know, find to be big, right? But they're actually not. Like, you ain't gotta wake up in the morning to go get your makeup done for school. Like, you stressing yourself out about what?
And I just couldn't imagine being someone like, you know, coming from a family where you don't have a lot of money or different things like that. Like, they're going to school in Louis Vuitton, and you know, I just I can't imagine. Like, I don't. That's crazy.
And yeah, it's like they're creating this false perception. Now they're expecting everybody to live up to it, and you're stressing yourself even more if you can't live up to that perception. And now we see that is taking a toll on people's mental health, because when they can't, you know, live up to that, it's like, well, dang, I don't have this. You know, so and so has this, but I don't have this. Something has to be wrong with me. You know, I must not deserve this. And now we see kids, even like the suicide rates have gone up in young people because of stuff.
The pressure.
Exactly. Regarding social media and the pressures that are put on, you know, these young people. So it's definitely something that we got to talk about and work on.
Or even just beyond that, like, now they're also going to be pressured to do things in order to get the money and to be able to keep up with the social media trends. But, you know, it's crazy. But, you know, it's fantastic that you're doing what you're doing as far as the program for the girls, the program for women. I think that mental health therapy is something that is very much needed. especially in the Black community, because there's often a negative take on it. So how do you, I know that's something that you probably experience or have to deal with from some of your clients, like, or just the fear of even coming to you. I know, like, to be completely transparent, I've been told before, like, or not I've been told, but like I've had family members say stuff like, oh no, don't go to therapy, don't do anything like that, like it's gonna be like as if it's gonna be on your record, or that's gonna make you crazy, or whatever the case may be. And it's really sad, because that's why a lot of people in our community do deal with mental illness and don't even realize it.
And it's honestly, we just have to start the conversation, because it's so taboo, just mental health. And again, it's like, I remember growing up, and it was like, if you had a mental health ailment, you were crazy. Right?
That's what.
You know what I mean? Or even like if I had a bad day, or like I thought I was depressed, my grandma was like, well, go drink some ginger ale, you'll be all right. Just you'll be fine. Like no one actually
have depression.
Like no one sat there and actually like worked to address it, and like was like, okay, let's put her in therapy, right? And so it's something we have to talk about, because the fact is, like Black people, the Black community, we are suffering, and we're suffering in silence. And not only are we suffering in silence because we don't want to have the conversation, but we're also suffering because there are not adequate resources for us, right? And so exactly, within our communities. And so again, it takes us, taking a stand and be like, okay, you know what, this is something we need to talk about, so that way we can create resources for us, right? And so with finding providers, it's important to find somebody that you feel is best meshed with you, right? That's with anybody, right? You don't want to go to a doctor that you like, we don't really mesh with, right? Like you want somebody you're comfortable with. Definitely. And it's the same thing with a therapist, right? You want somebody that you feel comfortable in, that can, best help you. And if you don't feel like that is somebody that can truly relate to you, then that's not somebody you need to go to. And so that's something I make very clear to all my clients on the first time that we ever speak. I'm like, okay, what are your expectations of me? What questions do you have of me? Like, I want you to feel comfortable in me and my ability to help you. And if you don't feel that way, then that's fine. There are no hard feelings. I'll find you someone else who I think might be a better fit.
Like, I just wish that that's what people need to hear. It needs to be normalized in our community. It doesn't, because I just think that the perception is something's wrong with you if you're in therapy. And so what could you say, like, if you could say one thing to completely change the perception, or to educate people, especially in our community, about it, what would you say?
I would say that mental health is health, just in a nutshell, because we often separate physical health and mental health when they're one and the same. Actually, your mental health affects your physical health, right? So if you're not in a place mentally where you can, take care of yourself, then it affects your physical health. Like, think about it, right? One of the highest, the highest cause of like death in the U.S. is what? Like heart problems, right? Like, so with that being said, what generally causes heart problems? Stress, hypertension. And so where does that come from? Your mental health, right? So just talking to somebody about these things, it can definitely help to alleviate that. So again, mental health is health. Physical health and mental health go one and the same. If you were sick and had the flu, you would be quick to go to the emergency room to get some antibiotics. But then when you're experiencing feelings of depression, suicidal thoughts, you don't want to go to the mental health hospital because now you think you're crazy. No, it's the same thing. Mental health is health. So if we just kept that in mind and we continue to really force that and continue to normalize it, I think people will understand that, okay, it is health. Let's go get checked up on. People should get evaluations regularly,
just like how you have annual checkups. Exactly. It should be an annual evaluation.
Exactly. And it should be a normal thing for people. Again, I think it should be required. So
okay, and I completely agree. So, you have so much going on. You're doing amazing. Again, congratulations.
Thank
Y'all,
you.
Nhari is one of my dear friends. I just love her. Such a fan. So tell me, what's next, Nhari? Like, what's the exclusive?
Girl, exclusive. I'm trying to give birth.
Okay. That's it. And honestly, that's enough. Like that.
That's all I can think about right now. I just have so much happening as is, right? And so just trying to navigate being a mom of two, under two. I'm just worried about giving birth and trying to figure out what that's going to look like, with having 2 kids now, along with being the entrepreneur that I am. So really, at this point, I'm just trying to get through birth, and then after that, we'll figure out the rest.
Well, you got it. You got it. You're amazing as always.
Well, thank you. You too.
Thank you so much for being on Treasure
I'm so
Talk.
proud of you.
Please, if you could, I want you to share how people can get in touch with you and take advantage of your services.
Yes, absolutely. So, you guys can look me up on Instagram. It's my first name, which is Nhari, and as in Nancy, Hari, Fitzgerald, which is Fitzgerald. My website is the same, NhariFitzgerald.com. That's about it. Yeah, either of those, you can get in touch with me if you want more information about mental health services or resources, whatever. I'm your girl.
Thank you so much, Nhari.
Of course.
And thank you everyone for tuning in to Treasure Talk.
Thank you.